Now we're going to create a scrolling road because in Glacier Race, the players are going to feel like they're moving quickly around the road, but in reality, their cars aren't moving. It's the road that is moving. So what we need to do is create the roads. So you're going to go over to the sprite and click on the paint to create our own sprite. What you want to do is click convert to bitmap. So it's a bitmap type of file, not a vector file. And we are going to pick the paintbrush, and you want to make sure your thickness is 10. I've already been in here, so you may have to change this number to 10. You can pick a color that you want, a darker color that you want for your lines. And what we're going to do is we are going to draw a road. And you want to make sure it goes all the way from the top. So I'm going to start a little outside the actual drawing surface, canvas, and then I'm just going to draw my road. And we're going to name this one Road 1. So we're going to go over here by where the sprite is. We're going to name it Road 1. And what we're going to do is we are going to take the paint bucket and make this white. So you want to go to like the color like in yellow and then take the saturation all the way down. See how it looks white here? And then I'm going to take the paint bucket and I'm going to type white paint on either side. And now you can see it's white like snow here, different than the pattern inside. So now what we want to do is we're going to duplicate this road, because what it's going to be is we're going to duplicate this road and flip it. And it's going to look weird, but you will see how the road will match as we go on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to road 1. I'm going to right click and duplicate it. And it automatically calls it road 2, so I didn't have to do anything about it. So I'm making sure I have road 2 selected. I'm going to go back to the selection, and now I have the chance to flip it vertically. So I'm just flipping it vertically. So see, it's going to look a little weird. So I'm just making sure it's not the same as my road 1, and then I flipped it vertically. Now I need to set my code for the roads. So I'm going to go back to road 1, go to my code, and these are the code blocks that we are going to do for code 1. So I need to go to the events, and I'm going to need 2 events, both when I receive. So I'm going to bring both my when I receives out. The first one is when I receive setup. I'm telling road 1 to go to the XY coordinates of 0, 0. So it'll be right in the middle of the stage, filling the stage. When it receives the move, it will change the block positions, the road's positions. So that's why it's going to look like something's moving, because the road's moving. The 0 coordinate, the Y coordinate is still 0, but the coordinate for Y is going to be the variable road Y. This variable is set in the game loop and will calculate when the message is sent. So that's how it's going to appear to move. Now for road 2, the following code, we need the same 2 events. We need when it receives, and once again, 1 when it tells it how to set it up, and this is telling it how to move. So the setup for road 2 is the XY coordinates again, but different XY coordinates. We want it to go to 0 on X and Y 360. So it'll put it basically makes sure that it's going to run smoothly together. Oh, I forgot one thing on the road 1. I'm sorry. In the setup as well, you also need the looks of go to the back by 10 layers. And what that does is that makes sure that your scenery is staying behind all other sprites. So you got to scroll down, and it might be defaulted to go forward. But remember, you're looking for the go, because then you can change forward to backward, and you want it to be back by 10 layers. We need the same thing on road 2. go, change it to backward, and we want it to be 10 layers. Then how we're telling the row 2 to move is we need an if else. If something is there, do this. If else, it's going to do something else. So what is all variables on road Y, where road Y is, which is calculated by the game. So road 2 is positioned above or below road 1, depending where road 1 is on the stage. So that's why we're using this. So we need our operator of less than again. So basically it's saying if road Y is less than 0, then what's going to happen? It's telling your road 2 where to go. So we have to go to those XY coordinates. We're going to need one for if and one for else. So if it's in a certain position, we're going to the variables. It's telling road Y. If it's less than 0, then it says road Y. And now we need another operator. So this is all about positioning. So it's saying go to wherever road Y is. Oh, I'm sorry. Go to 0 and then road Y plus 360 if it is less than 0. If all else, notice it's always going to 0 in X. It's the Y part that is varying, and that's how you're getting the movement. So we need, now this time, you need the minus operator. This was the plus, and this is the minus. Make sure they're in the right positions. So in this case, if road Y is greater than 0, then your second road 2, is going to go to 0, and road Y, sorry, having problems placing this properly, road Y minus 360. I'm going to do it out here and then put it in since it's being a pain. Now that you have your code for the road, what we're going to do is add some color to the road. What you want to do is click on backdrops by the stage. We want to make sure that this says convert to vector. If it says convert to bitmap, click on it, because if you try to use the paint bucket tool, it's not going to work. So convert it to bitmap and pick a color for the road that you would like it to be. So I'm going to make my road purpley. I'm going to click on the paint bucket tool, click on, and now my road's filled in. Now we can run the code and see if it scrolls. There you go. Now we have a scrolling road. One last thing we want to do. On road 1, we want to add some trees. So in the costumes tab, you're going to have to draw some little decor on the outside. Now, you know I am a horrible artist, so I'm just going to pick green. And here are my trees that I'm drawing. And I want your trees to look better than my trees. So now when it goes, looks like it's scrolling with some kind of background. And that's how we build our road.